Landslides are rampant in this part of Malaysia, but how would you describe the nature of this latest disaster and its severity?
Well, thank you, Siane, for inviting me. I think this event is very unprecedented in a way that it happened not followed by a heavy rainfall. So the type of landslide that currently taking place in Batang Kali is what I observed as earth flow. Earth flow is more or less a type of landslide that came with a lot of waters with it, and then the composition of the slide or the slope itself consists of high fine-grained materials which are able to absorb more water and also is not allowing the water to pass through easily. So under this condition, the slope gets saturated. And of course, it will induce the formation of slip surface deep inside the ground, and a kind of deep-seated landslide of this kind. Of course, it will travel far because it has some kind of velocity with it due to its semi-fluid behavior. So that is why, although we are not there were not reported of heavy rainfall events prior to the landsliding, but we know that Malaysia currently is experiencing monsoonal seasons. Okay, and we've been there are series of rainfall with high intensities recorded for the past weeks. Okay, and this could give rise to the antecedent rainfall where precipitation is high, and with the continuous wetting to the same slope, it gets weakened, and then in a short period of time, it can travel downwards as what we experience today.
Well, then, speaking of this, especially land degradation itself, what does this event particularly say about the state of land degradation there, and could it have been avoided?
Of course, I would not say that this can be avoided because landslide is a dynamic system of the earth. So eventually, any slope will fail when it has reaches the maximum strength it can sustain. The land clearing is something unavoidable at some parts. Of course, we need to build infrastructures there. But with illegal camping site like this, the land clearance to the primary forest does not come with a proper mitigation or structure measures to the slope that has been cleared. Obviously, we are seeing lots of discrepancies to the surrounding of the campsite. And I think at some point, yes, this is avoidable, but not entirely avoidable, because the only thing that human can do is to minimize the risk of landslide. We can't totally stop the landslide from happening. And because of our country located in a region where we experience wet and humid climate all the year, so this is something that we should be aware of. And since Malaysian soil cover is almost roughly very thick of the residual soils, a soil that has been disintegrated from the in situ rock. So this effect will be imminent in a way that soil is a loose part of rock that once it has been disintegrated, a small disturbance from water or even shaking could induce movement. And this is what we experience now.
Well, touching on the point about having more measures in place, a poor drainage system was also part to blame for past landslide events in Genting Highlands. What else can the government do to make sure that this particular tourist hotspot is safe?
Well, of course, we need to invest more in terms of putting up a strong and rigid structure that can at least sustain some kind of massive movement from the slope. But apart from there, I would say that non-structural measures, which is the awareness, is among the important thing that we need to look at. All right, we know that currently the Meteorological Department of Malaysia has warned the people of Malaysia and also those who come to Malaysia that we will experience heavy rainfalls today and such. So people need to take extra caution with this warning. Don't simply go to an area that prone to landslide, because at the first place, if you are not there, you will not be trapped under the soil mass. But I'm not blaming the victims, but really this illegal campsite is really a thing now. People like to go to the nature and then they want to experience a nice experience with the nature. Although the campsite itself does not diminishes the nature directly, but then the location and also the implementation of the site itself is far from sustainable. So what government can do is, after this, they need to tighten up the enforcement for the camping site, near the hillside, and especially those at the toe. Although toe of the slope seem to be far from a gradient or elevated areas, but then the after effect of landslide is actually impacting those residential at the lower part. So yes, we need to have strict rules to curb the trend where opportunists trying to make money out of the nature. And also we need to invest a bit on the good and slope stabilization measures. And also we need to have a sound monitoring system that able to give us the precursor warning or threshold once everything is in imminent danger and what needs to do next.
Well, just one last question quickly. What advice would you give to those who would want to experience such outdoor adventures, especially at this time, perhaps signs to look out for signs of an impending landslide?
I would say this is not the best time, to be honest, because I myself, I have a family, and of course we want to bring our kids out, for whatever intention we'll have. But yes, we at least try to avoid areas that are prone to landslide, prone to flood, prone to any instabilities. And how do we know that such area is not strategic for our tourism spot? First, of course, with the history of that area. When this area has an evidence of continuing landslide evidence every year, it means that they are unstable in general. So with monsoon seasons coming, so please avoid such areas. And there are many places that we can visit apart from the highlands. So make full use of that area first, okay? Avoid highlands for the time being.
Well, thank you very much for that advice. It's always better to be safe than sorry. That was Dr. Shahidah Muhammad Nazer from Universiti Kebangsaan, Malaysia.